two types of people in this world. The people who naturally accept life, and the people who hope all those people die in a big explosion. Hi, my name is Ariana and this is La Mode Darling. So I'm really excited today because I have a video that's about an idea that I've been really wanting to do for a long time, and that is combining two subjects that I talk a lot about here on this channel, fashion and film. And I wanted to combine them to talk about fashion in film or costume design for a really long time. And so today I'm going to be starting a series where I look at a specific film and I look at the costumes and how they're important to a specific character and how I can take inspiration from those costumes. So today I'm going to start the series with the film The Edge of 17. It's a film that came out in 2016 by the director Kelly Freeman Craig, and it's a coming of age story about a girl named Nadine whose best friend decides to start dating her brother, who's Nadine's enemy. And so Nadine ends up very much alone. The film follows her as she navigates her life alone and as she grows up and starts to accept how the world is and the people around her. The costumes very much affect how Nadine is as a person. Nadine's style is also somewhat of a running joke in the movie. Nadine's style, Mr. Brenner even comments that she's an especially bad dresser. So it's definitely part of the film and it's on purpose. Nadine has a very alternative slash indie style. She wears a lot of ripped skinny jeans and t-shirts that have sassy sayings on them, like very busy doing nothing. She wears a lot of clashing graphics and patterns and bright colors that don't really make a lot of sense. A lot of sweatshirts and skirts. She has a very iconic blue, almost checkered 1980s coat that's very vibrant and just really funky. Also, as a side note, I don't really want to spend that much time talking about makeup or hair just because it's not something that I really know about, at least in film. But Natalie Costco, who was the makeup artist, and Jeannie Chow, who was part of the hair department, basically said that they wanted Nadine to have a very natural look that reflected high school girls from 5 years ago, but really now today too, how they looked, which was very natural. For the entire film, Nadine has her hair down and she doesn't really wear that much makeup. She wears definitely a bit, but it looks very natural. And so that also adds to Nadine's look of not really giving that much of a shit about how she looks. Another thing that she wears all the time is high-top sneakers with big chunky socks that are usually graphic. These sneakers can be Vans or Adidas or any type of very classic high-top sneakers, except for Converse, which are the only ones that I have, so that was kind of funny. So even though she has a very alternative and indie style, she's also a bit feminine. Like with these skirts, there's a bit of a floral pattern with them, and when she goes on her date, she wears this very like girly dress. So she's a mix of a lot of different things and different feelings, but overall she has a very tomboyish, alternative, rebellious style. And there's a purpose to that. Carla Hatland is the costume designer, and she said when she was coming up with Nadine's character, she's a fish out of water. We couldn't dress her in any way that she would belong to a clique. We couldn't dress her like a geek. We couldn't dress her goth. Because if we did dress her in those ways, then there would be a group at that school that she would belong to. So her costume definitely reflects the sense that she really doesn't belong anywhere. And she's very independent, which can also be kind of bad too, because the style also kind of represents her immaturity and her selfishness. She kind of looks like she dresses like a toddler, just in the sense that, like, I feel like only toddlers dress in such clashing patterns because they don't know any better yet. So it looks very adolescent and out of place, which fits her character perfectly. Another interesting thing is that it really references 1980s and 1990s style. Like with the blue trucker coat. And in fact, the makeup designer for the movie, Natalie Costco, said that she specifically based Nadine's look after Winona Ryder and Molly Ringwald. And so if you look at her costumes, you can kind of see the same thing, where she does a lot of layering. It's very casual and bohemian in the same way that many of Molly Ringwald's costumes are in a lot of John Hughes films like 16 Candles and Pretty in Pink. Of course, Nadine is definitely maybe a bit more masculine, or maybe not masculine but more tomboyish, because she wears a lot of clothing that looks like it's for guys. Like, for example, that blue coat is actually a man's coat and not a woman's coat. In a way, Nadine is just very independent in the way that she dresses. As I mentioned, this is a coming of age story, and Nadine starts out as being very selfish, and she grows up during the film. And her style is definitely reflected in this. She comes off as very adolescent and very immature because of the way that she dresses, and she's kind of all over the place. It's not that that's necessarily a bad thing, like that is partially why she's so charming and I think also so relatable, is because she's like any other teenager. She's the rebel that everybody thinks they have inside of her, and she kind of more projects it out than other people. So I decided to take a little bit of inspiration from Nadine and create outfits that reflect her style and hopefully get some of the ideas across. So I want to start out by saying that I don't want to recreate the costumes, partially because I don't have a lot of clothing with me, so that would be impossible. And I didn't want to buy anything, so I'm just using my own clothing and I'm borrowing a few other pieces. And secondly, I didn't want to do that because I wanted to create something unique that is inspired by the movie and still get some of her points across, but is unique and also kind of follows my style too. So my first outfit is these light wash Levi jeans that I wear all the time in my videos and on my blog. I'm a darling. And they're really relaxed. She mostly wears skinny jeans, so these are not like what she has in the movie, but because she wears a lot of like dark wash or ripped jeans that look very casual, I felt like this was a good replacement. She also wears a lot of sweatshirts, usually with some type of graphic, or if there isn't, then it's usually on a t-shirt or something. So I borrowed this sweatshirt that has a rocket ship on it. And there's actually a short film in the film that has rocket ships in it. So a nice little reference, if I do say so myself. So since there's the rocket ship in the sweatshirt, that kind of represents her casualness and how she doesn't really care. I'm going to be wearing the same sneakers for both outfits, partially because I didn't bring any other sneakers. Unfortunately, I don't have high tops with me, so I can't follow that exactly, but I decided to still wear this pair because they're kind of funky. They kind of have that vintage feel to them, which is definitely a main aspect of her style. My second outfit is more of a take on her outfits with skirts. Unfortunately, I don't have a more silk or like chiffon styled skirt, so I have this denim skirt and I paired it with this black t-shirt. She has a very casual style and they're relaxed and once again very vintage, which I've said about 1,000 times in this video. And so this t-shirt kind of reflects that. It's very boxy and looks very distressed. So I wore that tucked into the skirt. And then on the bottom, I'm wearing the same sneakers as before. Unfortunately, I don't have any funky colored socks, so I just decided to wear these white socks because white socks, in my opinion, are kind of nerdy, and I feel like she would kind of wear them ironically to kind of fit her whole style. And all my other socks actually were dark, so bright white socks are still pretty bright. So I thought that would kind of mix in with how she styles things. So I hope you enjoyed this style of video. As I said, it's very different from what I usually do, but let me know if you like it by liking it and subscribing below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!